All right, we got season 21 USL Live, the season preview edition, with myself and my co-host Rogue, aka Eric, aka Deputy Administrator. How are we doing today, Eric?
Pretty good, man. Just currently watching the Bills lose to Miami.
Yeah, that's a bit rough. I mean, they're in already, right? So it doesn't really matter that much. But just if you have to go play Miami again, nonetheless. So we're just gonna preview some squads today. Talk about where we think they might fall, projected starting lineups, maybe some free agents that we think should join. I'm going to just start in alphabetical order, and my squad dead weighted at first. I'm going to tell you who the starters are since it's my squad. Ideally, if everybody shows, it's going to be myself, Ernie, aka Tactical, TG, Torch, Havoc at Marine, most likely, and then either Katana or King, aka Tyrael. And then my meds are going to be CC and Staley. Hopefully, CC Staley shows. If not, I can move Havoc to med. So it's kind of depending on how active Staley is. He said he's going to show a lot this season, so we're hoping there. And then we have, probably King or Katana, whoever doesn't start, Bowen, DP, and whoever else I pick up for backups. Since it's my squad, I'll let you weigh in first on what you think we're going to do this season and maybe what place. Just some sort of ideas about it.
Yeah, no problem. So actually, the lineup you said, it was pretty much my prediction. Again, I don't know how active Staley is going to be. So I did have him down, obviously, as a medic, with the last filler spot being either DP, Cat, Bowen, or King. Um, my projected placement for you guys is second place. I think you guys have the better lineup between you and One Love. My question and or concern is leading with you guys. I know you can lead, but just like me, when you're leading, your play takes a little bit of a hit, and sometimes you take some bad deaths because you're too focused on looking at the mini map and trying to position your squad in a spot to succeed. So right now, I do see you guys over One Love, FUP, and HC. I see you guys possibly giving us a little bit of a run, but with Champion being active, I don't really see too much happening there.
Is Champ playing? Well, I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you got a spot on. I'm going to be leading. It does take away a little bit. The good thing is having Ernie on obviously changes a lot from what people have seen so far this season. One, he talks a lot, which helps my leading a lot. With TG and Torch talking and Ernie talking, it does help my leading. But you're definitely right about leading and play Marine. I do take a hit. So we got to focus on not feeding this year. I also had ourselves second, but I wouldn't be surprised if we dropped a game to One Love this season. I mean, they have a pretty good roster. If they fade out of WoW a little bit, I think that they can easily beat us if we have a bad day and they have a good day. So I think that's accurate too. If Champion's active, then yeah, I think you guys will probably take first again and probably win another ring depending on the map and everything. But yeah, and then us versus FUP, we have dropped a few SBs to them. I think we've won 3, they've won 2, or we've won 2, they've won 2, something like that. But that was their ideal lineup on, and I had not my ideal lineup on, I'll say. So I don't really have an accurate reading on how we'll do against them this season. I'm assuming we'll probably win, but with them having ER and split on, they can, turn around battles pretty quickly. So but yeah, I have us up in the second spot. Any other comments on that, or should we move on to the next squad?
We can move on to FUP.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you share your FUP starters first, and I'll tell you if it's the same as mine.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have FUP actually on the third, possibly competing with you guys and One Love for second place, just because of how active they are. And I do think, regardless of Splitter wanting to camp as much, I do think they actually have some solid leadership and a bunch of like-minded players. So it kind of suits pretty well for them. But my predicted lineup for them is Kevin, Split, Raver, the Mountain. Bax is either going to play Ripper or LMG. You're going to have Fresh and Flash as your medics. And then the last spot is up for either Apollo, Uni, or Joe. My guess is probably Apollo.
Is Mountain playing on Sundays? I thought I read somewhere he wasn't, but if he is, I think he would start. But I don't know for sure if he's going to be active.
If he is active, he should start because he's one of the few people on that squad that has played a lot with us, like you in the past as well, and kind of knows what we want to do, and he can be vocal and help them out. He's definitely probably their best Marine aside from Raver.
I think so too. I think he definitely changes the game. If SV is active, excuse me one second. Yeah, if SV is active, I think he can definitely start and instantly become their second best Marine behind ER. I think ER, and then him, and then you probably have Split and Kevin pretty close to each other, and then a couple people under that. But yeah, if he's active and he slides in that lineup, I think he'll be pretty good. I had, not counting SV, I had ER, Split, Bax, Kevin, Apollo, Uni as Marine, and then Flash and Fresh as Med. Um, I don't know if Kevin's going to start Joe or not. I know Bax did in the past, but they might take the squad a little bit more seriously. So we'll see if Joe is going to be a Sunday only guy. Is he going to play? I think it's a pretty big hit if he does. If you're starting Joe over even like Uni, I think that's kind of significant. But yeah, I see them fighting somewhere between 2 through 4 as well. If they have a good day, they're a pretty good squad on EC. If they have a game against us on EC, I could see them beating us. I don't know how it's going to work on Kaiser Pass or what not, but I could also see them beating One Love on a good day. If Jeff doesn't pop off, then One Love could very well lose to them. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think I sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's pretty much why I have them at third, just because of the inactivity level of One Love. If they, like you said earlier, fade off of WoW, then FUP falls to fourth.
Agreed. Let's move on to Hellcats. Starting lineup is kind of hard. I haven't seen Niffy or Lyric on, but I put them in my starting lineup anyways. Just because I think if they show, or maybe they're just waiting for the season, they'll be good. So I have Septicemia, aka Renal, aka what's the other one he plays on?
Rapier.
Yeah, that guy. So I think he is their best Marine by far. He's a really good player. His aim is really good. He probably deserves to be on a better squad, but I don't think anybody really knows who he is. So maybe in the future. And then Baza 7, Lyric, Niffy, Raekwon, and Jaws, probably like LMG or something. And then Meds, that dude in Kill Switch.
So I have a little bit different. I do have that dude and Jaw as your medics. And then I have Kill Switch, who I guess has been leading in the absence of Lyric. Septicemia, aka Renal, aka Rapier. Astro, who just rejoined. Raekwon, NFVI, and Baza is my starting lineup for who I think will take the fifth seed.
Just because you haven't seen Lyric on, I take it. If Lyric starts showing up,
If Lyric's on, then it probably replaces either Baza or Raekwon, just because they kind of lag a little bit and the fear of being specced in a match. I don't think too many people will complain about lag against Hellcats, but
No.
I just see Lyric as a more vocal person with a little bit of veteran leadership that they would want in that lineup.
Yeah, Raekwon's lag is pretty bad. He takes a lot of hits, but I don't think anybody will complain too much. I agree. Yeah, I guess I would have Kill Switch as Marine, and I forgot that I saw him Marining the other day with Jaws. I just don't know if you can trust Jaws Med, but because he doesn't really med in pub anymore. It looks like he always just LMGs or Ripper, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that falls through. But yeah, I think obviously they're the fifth squad. They probably don't have a chance to beat anybody this season, but they always show, and it's fun to play against them. They don't really have any forfeits, and with the roster cap going up, there's a couple people in free agents I see that could even, fortify them a little bit, so it's not as bad as it was last season.
Yeah, absolutely. The roster's probably going to get upped one more time, just to fit in the players that were joining the Goonies who got kind of screwed over by Manu trolling. So I mean, once those guys rejoin free agents and the roster cap gets upped a bit, there should be some more players like Wu Tang, like Ghost Bomber, like SF that can join either Hellcats, you guys, One Love, and to really help bolster some of these guys out.
Next, we have you guys. I'll let you give the lineup. I think I probably have the same one, but I'll let you start with it.
All right. Well, our squad, Low Life Thugs, I obviously have us projected to be first. Lineup is going to be Champion, myself, Sov, Nazkeeper, Iron, and Fax are medics. ESO as LMG, and then depending on the time, either Ninja or Yosh as our eighth or Rev.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
that's what I had to. If Champ is showing Sundays, I take it.
That's the rumor.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he's showing Sundays, you guys will probably get first. I don't think that's a hot take. But yeah, I had the same lineup. I had a question mark next to Champ. I didn't know if he was rating or not again this season. But yeah, and the only thing I would worry about you guys is in the playoffs. Like last year, Sam was nowhere to be found, and I don't think was Yosh on. I guess Yosh was on, yeah, but obviously, you guys are a lot stronger when everybody's showing up. So as long as everybody shows up and Sam actually shows up for playoffs, I think you guys should probably bring home the ring again.
Yeah, Sammy said he was going to be more active, but you know how that goes. And it is kind of hard for him because it's like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. for him when half of these matches kick off.
Yeah.
So he could say one thing, but he could pass right the fuck out, which is understandable.
Yeah. Luckily, you guys have enough depth that it doesn't really matter as much. Obviously, having him is a huge boon, but when you can replace him with Yosh or even Rev or the Pister, even maybe who yeah, so you could always start him as well. But yeah, I think we are agreement on that. Let's jump to One Love. um my starters I think are probably going to be the same as yours, except there's one question mark I have and I don't know how they're going to fill it. Right now I have Dave, Jeff, Pandy, Typhoon, Danny as Marines, Stav and Tyson medic.
Hmm.
I know MP doesn't really like playing and Kaga can't show on Sundays, so does spoils start for them? Probably not. I'm assuming they're going to grab somebody else from free agents because I don't really see a sixth Marine for them.
Yeah, and your lineup's the exact same as mine. I do have these guys at fourth at the moment just because of inactivity. I did have Kaga if he shows. I don't know who the spoils guy is. MP will play if he has to, but I see these guys maybe making a move for Ghost Bomber uh, and SF to kind of shore up their lineup a little bit. Especially because Ghost Bomber played with Typhoon and everything like that on IHS. I
Mhm.
do also see the possibility of Manu still joining them and playing as Sunday only.
Yeah.
And there's also the possibility that Soul does end up joining Dave just to help them out. I
Yeah.
don't really see it happening just because of how inactive they are at the moment. Soul just likes to play, so he doesn't mind playing as the universal NT for every squad at the moment. I also think Mosh joins. He's also in their One Love Discord playing World of Warcraft with them. I think he and his brother joined them, actually.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking maybe Brill too. Brill's played a lot with Dave. Obviously you got to work around his lag sometimes, but I think when Brill is in and if he's not lagging, he's a pretty solid player and he complements their squad pretty well. But I was thinking, yeah, too. But I think Mosh and Zol are going to end up professional NTing again this season. But you never know; they could join at some point. But they like to be able to just NT with whoever's SBing at that point. With the squad being that inactive, and it kind of works out for Soul. He can just play with whoever he wants to without having to, you know, worry about anything. Um, yeah, but hopefully they do. Yeah, and I could see Ghost Bomber Manu something like that as well. Hopefully they get somebody because I don't think you can start Spoils as a reliable starter. I don't really know who he is either. He kind of popped up last season. He seemed decent, but I don't think that's a reliable squad if you want to finish second place. So as of now, I have them at fourth or third. I think I have them as right now. But they could be fourth if they don't pick anybody up. They could be second if they grab somebody like a Solo or Mosh.
Yep.
And then obviously if Kaga does play Sundays, that they can slide right into 2 or 3 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I did write down some notable free agents. We don't have to predict where they're gonna go. Actually, let's try to predict where they're gonna go if they go somewhere. First, Soul. I think you're right. I think he probably ends up joining Dave if he joins the squad. I've been trying to recruit him this whole time, but I don't think he likes how inactive we are.
Mm.
But that should change here in the next week or so. But so if he does join a squad, I'm gonna guess One Love. I take it you're in concurrence with that.
It would either be One Love or us, honestly, just
Yeah.
because we're one of the more active squads as well. And with roster cap being upped, it could happen. I don't see it happening. I do agree. I think it's One Love that Soul might go to.
Yep. Next, I have Brill. Um, I think Brill could join any squad. Really, I don't. I know I had already talked to him about maybe coming on board, but with his lag, I'm a little bit worried on relying on him. But I think he could join Dave. He could join FUP. He could join us. You guys would probably love to have him too if he had an open roster spot. I don't think he'll go all the way down to Hellcats, but if Lyric asks him, he might go down to Hellcats and just try to help a bottom squad out. So I don't really have any
Um,
solid predictions on Brill.
I think Brilhart joins probably FUP or One Love.
Yeah.
That's probably my guess because honestly, I would probably start or Brilhart over Apollo and Uni if his lag is fine. Again,
Yeah.
that's kind of the reoccurring issue is will he be able to stay in the game because of the lag?
Yep. That's kind of what I was worried about when I was talking to him about joining, and also, I don't know if I would start him over Katana or Tyrael for the lag reason mostly, but also I think Katana and Brilhart are pretty similar in skill level, but I don't have to worry about Katana lagging out. So it's doesn't seem very feasible for us, but I think he probably ends up joining FUP or One Love to maybe he's their sixth Marine.
Yep.
I'm gonna group these two together: Ghost Bomber and SF. What do you think?
I like I was saying a little bit earlier, I do think they actually go to One Love.
Yeah.
Just because that gives them another medic. And I mean that puts a little bit of relief on Tyson too. Tyson can go play AT or Marine or LMG, and SF
Mhm.
can be that second medic, and then you get Ghost Bomber also playing either AT or LMG. So I
Mhm.
think Ghost Bomber showed a lot of promise on IHS last season. I mean, he did win the Cave Beast Award, so I do think that he is very serviceable. Other than that, those two might go to Hellcats. I don't think FUP picks them up because they essentially have their core set. And I don't think you guys pick them up necessarily either because you guys also have your core set. And obviously we have ours. And I think Ghost Bomber is somebody, if he puts in the time and scrims a lot, he wants to start. And that's understandable.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. I think they might end up on Hellcats. I really wish they would have joined Wu Tang so we could have had a 6-man season. If Manu didn't troll and we get, Burl, Ghost Bomber, Manu, SF on Goonies, they would have had, we would have had a legit six squad. So
Yep.
that would have been cool. Maybe they were on vacation. I don't know. But yeah, I think they probably end up on Hellcats. They might end up on One Love. But I don't know if they can guarantee SF a starting spot. Whereas on Hellcats, they should both start. Ideally, I don't know if that would happen either because
Hmm.
management. But yeah, I could see that. Manu as well. He was next on my list anyways. Or Mosh as well. I could see him joining One Love. Like you said earlier, I don't think he would join Hellcats. I think he would rather professional NT than join Hellcats. I talked to him as well. He seemed pretty non-committal about playing this year, so he might just do the professional NT thing. But if he does join somebody, I think it's probably One Love.
Mosh, yeah, absolutely. And then going back to Manu, definitely either One Love or actually Hellcats. Just
Yeah.
because I heard from both Pandy and Ravers stating that Manu said if he's going to play, he wants to play on a like lower tier squad. So that could be a very big possibility, or he could even join FUP if he chooses to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see him on Hellcats just trying to try to lead them, do the AYB thing, just good leader, bad squad. Just camp a lot and kind of see where it gets you. Maybe try to sneak a win against somebody by camping or keeping it close by camping. Um, One Love, I could see him joining as well. I don't know if he'd want to, but I could see that happening. Um, but I think my official guess is going to be Hellcats, and he tries to bring GB and SF with him.
Very well could. But
Next,
then I think that
uh,
that kind of puts that dude in an awkward position because then Manu will try and choose the starting lineup because he's going to lead, and it would kind of put a friction between those that actually stayed with that dude for Hellcats. So
yeah, I mean,
there is that trade off.
I think probably what we're both implying here is that Manny would want to bench Jokers, and that dude does not want to.
Yes.
But if you, yeah, so I think that could get in the way. I think I agree with that. But you know, if that dude's recruiting Manu to lead, then you kind of have to let him set the lineup. Because you know, if I came into a squad to try to help them and try to lead, I'd want to pick the starting lineup of available players as well. I don't really
Yeah,
blame anybody
absolutely.
for that if that ends up being the situation. Um, Next, I have Bad Magic, aka Mosh's brother Ken. He was ready to go on Goonies. I think he wants to play this season. Um, I could see him on One Love as well. Uh, he'd be a huge upgrade on Hellcats if he wanted to join them, but I don't know if he would want to join in Bad Squad.
Hmm.
But maybe he would. But I could see. I think he's kind of One Love or Hellcats as well.
I'm kind of surprised that you wouldn't pick him up because I could see him joining you guys just because NML
Mm-hmm.
legend himself, and SUT god. Um, I do see him going to One Love, or One Love or you guys. I don't think he goes to Hellcats. I don't think he wants to play on that squad.
Yeah, I've talked to him about joining. I don't know if he wants to start or not. If he doesn't want to start, I would gladly recruit him. Um, Actually, I could probably even start him a few SPs and or a few games, but I've talked to him too. Yeah, I just don't. I think he could actually make a huge difference on One Love if he joined. Because I think the more he plays, he's actually getting better and better, and he's kind of rounding into form. And I think he's actually a pretty decent player right now.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's half the issue with a majority of the players still currently in the league. We had 4 years off, which was
Mm-hmm.
surprising because of COVID. You would figure this game would have had a resurgence by then. And everybody shook off the rust kind of last season, and now you're getting ready to see people in better form, better leadership, etc.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of that, what's the inside scoop on BB leaving One Love? He just didn't want to play, or what?
WoW drama, which bled over obviously into USL. So Big Bird will not be playing. It's not like he really logged in much on USL, anyways. So it's not. I don't think it's that big of a loss for Dave and crew.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't see him on very much, so I didn't know if it was a big deal or not. But I was thinking like, well, how did they get a 10? But then I saw BB left. Um, Yeah, the few other people I have on free agents that could, maybe play somewhere. I have Chica. Surprised she hasn't joined FUP yet as just like a backup med. Um, they don't really have a third med. I mean, I guess Apollo can, but outside of Flash and Fresh, um, they don't really have a third med. So I thought maybe they could join him. Maybe I guess maybe Octavian. If you want to play that guy, he could join. And then Babel, same thing, free agent med. I would assume he probably goes back to Hellcats, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bax maybe talks Kevin into grabbing him for secondary med. I don't think he's that bad of a player. I think if you put him on a good squad, he could probably look a lot better than he has.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Babel definitely either goes back to Hellcats or Bax. I think Bax will convince Kevin to recruit him. I know Babel back in the day played a lot of Fortnite with Kevin and Bax, so that is still a thing. Um, Chica is is either going to Hellcats or maybe Dave recruits her, just as a filler for squad battles and playing against Hellcats.
Yeah. And then the last person I had, let me check the free agents again just to see if I missed anybody. I have Wu Tang as well. I think that guy gets better too the more he plays.
Mhm.
I've seen him have a few decent games. I've led with him in. He makes a few mistakes here and there, but that's to be expected with somebody who hasn't really played that much. But I think he does have a bright future in the league if he gets on the right squad. Um, I don't think he wants to join Hellcats again, but he might just end up having to due to nobody else recruiting him.
Mhm.
And not because he's not good enough to be recruited. I just think other people have other people in mind for their
Right.
slots. If it was 16 again, I could see him joining any squad in the league. An active guy talks on Discord, seems pretty chill. Why not grab him, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But depending on roster size, he might end up having to go back to Hellcats.
Yeah, it really is dependent on roster size for him because I do agree. I do think he is actually pretty good. He just needs to have the right group around him to really kind of learn. And I mean, that's what we did with essentially Worth and Ron last season, right? We got them
Mhm.
in like 2 or 3 games each to kind of learn, play, and obviously they played almost every SB we squad battled with, just to kind of learn positioning and kind of the flow of how we play. Um, and I know Wu Tang has NT'd with us a few times as well. Not this season, but last off season.
Mhm.
Um, I do think he is somebody who does have a bright future, and could go to any squad depending on what the what the roster limit's going to be up to.
No, I totally agree. And then who did I miss? Mike C. You never know with that guy. Whoever Men's Hair Club is, don't know who he is. Um,
I have no idea who that is.
SK and Bias probably won't play. Nobody wants Infinite. Um, Sabotage maybe eventually comes in, joins somebody.
I see him
Maybe.
joining you guys if he becomes active. And
Yeah, I PM'd him, but he hasn't been on since before Christmas, so I don't.
if whoever Sabotage joins will then get Vince Carter, because Vince Carter will come back and play with Sabo 100%.
I talked to VC about that as well.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, you guys want to join?" But Sabo hasn't been on site since 12/23, so I don't know if he's
Yeah.
actually coming back or not. But yeah, that's basically it with free agents. We're running out of time on the video, so we can conclude it there. Did you have any other thoughts or anything else you want to do predict about the season?
There's a whole lot of talk about settings at the moment. So I'm gonna leave most of them alone. I will say that, you know, with all these settings being in play, it makes it so that we don't run 6 Marines and 2 meds and really show how big the skill gap is.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, people kind of understand that, and one squad doesn't complain or get complacent with all these setting changes that we're trying to implement, so that other people can have fun playing
Agreed.
a niche class, or setting up certain things around whatever class they decide to play. That's it.
Agreed, 100%. Also, I just don't want to play Marine and SBs. I want these other classes, so that's why I'm a big proponent for them. But yeah, other than that, that will conclude. Maybe we will do a awards prediction later in this week. I was thinking about. So more to come on that. We might do one of those as well. But other than that, this has been USL Live Season 21.
Thanks for having me.